But to say that the world that we want to see, the design that we have for a better future, is equally as violent or abhorrent or repugnant is insane. All of the impact stuff is so crazy. What is this? You may not realize that every time you call the right Nazis, Gestapos, fascists, you feel some psycho to do something crazy like this because they think they're ridding the world of evil. We have to stop this rhetoric. Words have power. You do realize that virtually every single Republican has called for my assassination by saying that I am responsible for 9/11, loved 9/11, want more 9/11s to happen, am a terrorist, interviewed terrorists, love terrorism, and want it to happen all the fucking time. If you think that in some hypothetical scenario where there's going to be violent retribution towards the right because I'm correctly pointing out fascist sentiment, then what the fuck do you have to say about the other side's argumentation? And they don't just call me that either, by the way, okay? They call elected representatives that all the fucking time. There is a major asymmetry in the violent rhetoric when it comes to active politicians on the right versus Democrat Party politicians on the left. You have not been able to figure out this asymmetry, though, because I assume that you are more angry about people calling out the fascism rather than the actual fascism itself. And that's the problem. You should be angry about the fascism. You should be angry about fascist behavior. You should be angry about Nazi behavior. Do you understand? This attitude is the identical one that Trump presented, as a matter of fact. He said, people that call me a Nazi, people that call me a fascist, were basically calling for my death. People that did that for Charlie were basically calling for his death. And now this fascist administration is going to take action against people who correctly point out supremacist ideals. They're going to, you're calling us a Nazi, their way into a Nazi development. What are we doing here? This is so ridiculous. Yeah, what does Chatter believes right-wingers think should be done to those who are branded terrorists or commies? Exactly. I think the point is that the Nazi claims appear hollow and hyperbolic considering the atrocities that Nazis committed. I know. I've heard from squishy libs over and over again. You can't call this a Nazi. You can't call that a Nazi. You're calling everything a Nazi. Meanwhile, that fucking permission structure only deflates to a certain degree where it's only Adolf Hitler that was a Nazi and nobody else, okay? These are not hyperbolic or hollow claims. If someone is trying to design concentration camps and actually take away the citizenship of whoever the fuck they have decided are branded as villains, okay, then it is identical to the way that Nazis formed their political ideology. Considering that to be very similar to the early stages of Nazi development and calling it out as such is not wrong. The only reason why you think it's wrong is because you don't disagree with the policies of this administration. And instead of trying to reckon with that, instead of trying to offer counter narratives as to why this administration is different somehow, or the policies are different somehow, the ideological underpinnings are actually totally not the same as Nazi Germany, okay? You just posture vaguely and point to the aesthetic critique. And the same goes for Israel as well. An ideology of ethnic and religious supremacy, an exterminationist principle, consistently dehumanizing and advocating to exterminate the outgroup, Palestinians, Arabs, people who are not Jewish. It is a one-to-one comparison. It doesn't have to be the exact same methods that were deployed, gas chambers and death camps and concentration camps, for something to be considered fascist or Nazi, okay? And Republican politicians are saying this now. Yeah, this man says it's on the House floor and will turn around and say Republicans just want to be civil. They spread hate and fuel anger and cry when the fire they set consumes them. There's no longer any middle ground. Some on the American left are undoubtedly well-meaning people, but their ideology is pure evil. They hate God, the truth, the beautiful, and embrace the evil, the false, and the ugly. It's not only like violent rhetoric, which is, you know, I mean, it's just a part of the process, right? But it's also wrong.
You must know that. And
you are the opposite of Charlie Kirk politically in a different reality. We'd be watching Charlie Kirk cover your death. Both sides are wrong, and people need to come together. No side is morally above the other. This does nothing to make us weaker as a country. Dog, my worldview does not revolve around consistently claiming that an ethnic group or any sort of inalienable characteristic or trait means that someone is inferior, okay? There is no both sides on this. This is fucking delusional. I believe in a very radical proposition that everyone has the capacity to reform and rehabilitate, okay? That's what I believe. People who just sit around and go, ha, both sides are the same is crazy. Charlie Kirk has spent a lifetime fucking talking about like how fearful he is of a black pilot, of the Civil Rights Act was actually a mistake. Like consistently trying to draw the clock of progress backwards to the best of his ability and to some success, as a matter of fact. People with no political convictions who cannot comprehend how different ideologies yield different outcomes look at the situation from afar and go, these guys are both talking about politics. You're not wrong when you say I'm the opposite of Charlie Kirk politically. Okay, you're not wrong about that at all. It's something that I say too. I am diametrically opposed to everything that he presented, every single thing. Okay, that's part of the reason why a lot of people want me dead as well. But to say that the world that we want to see, the design that we have for a better future is equally as violent or abhorrent or repugnant is insane. The logical conclusion to the worldview that is designed by the right broadly, not just Charlie Kirk, but like by the right broadly, is something that we've seen before. Okay, it has been an abject failure. It's led to concentration camps. It's led to permanent violence, death, and destruction of groups that have been designed as the ultimate villains of society for no other reason other than the fact that they were a valuable target. They were a good enough distraction for these populations to hyper focus on. I don't do that. I want universal healthcare. I want a nationalized healthcare system. I want public housing. Okay, these two things are not the same. I don't want concentration camps for migrants. My starting point isn't that like people born on a different side of the planet are automatically worse than me and I must fear them for that reason. My starting point on this is everyone is the same. Okay, it's about the opportunity that is presented. It's about their material conditions that they're born into that actually dictate who they become. How can you say these two worldviews are just diametrically opposite, but also the middle is actually where the truth lies?